This Week in Gaming with Naomi Kyle.
Season's greetings, gamers. I'm Naomi Kyle, and welcome back to This Week in Gaming. This week, our favorite Baldur's Gate 3 developer, Larian Studios, shares an update on their next game, while rumors hint at a possible delay for GTA 6. And it seems every week we have a new game-turned-movie. The Sims franchise announces it's getting the Hollywood treatment. We've got all of this week's gaming news, so let's get started. Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year at last year's Game Awards. It scored 10s across the board with dozens of video game reviews. It even made $90 million in revenue for D&D's parent company Hasbro. This only makes it all the more puzzling why Larian Studios, the game's developer, announced during the Game Developers Conference that they would not be involved in making DLC, expansions, or even a Baldur's Gate 4. Even though the team at Larian initially began work on creating DLC for Baldur's Gate 3, the game's director, Sven Vincke, noticed that the team was just going through the motions. He said, "You could see the team was doing it because everyone felt like we had to do it, but it wasn't really coming from the heart, and we're very much a studio from the heart." So after a quick vacation over the holidays, Vincke made up his mind. Larian would be re-rolling the proverbial D20 and setting their sights on creating a game that comes from the heart. As for what that looks like, in an interview with Eurogamer, Vincke said that they're currently working on 2 games that are similar but different from the things they've done before, highlighting that the tone, style, and way of doing it will be completely new for Larian. He then clarified a previous comment he made about the size of one of their next projects, saying it's not a very big RPG that will dwarf them all that we're making now, adding that both their new games are big and ambitious, that's for sure. Ever since BG3's release, Vincke has been very vocal about his frustrations working with publishers and used his platform accepting the Baldur's Gate 3 Narrative Award at GDC Awards last week to critique the game industry's prevalent corporate greed. He emphasized his personal experience, stating, "I've been fighting with publishers my entire life," and urged for a shift towards valuing the people behind game development rather than relentless revenue growth. Regarding Hasbro's reaction to all of this, a spokesperson from the company described Larian as an exceptional partner in a statement provided to IGN. However, they did not provide much detail on their future plans beyond that. We'll of course have more on this story a little later in the show. In April, the upcoming Season 10 of Overwatch 2 will bring significant changes to how new heroes are unlocked and how the Battle Pass operates. In a developer update video for Blizzard, game director Aaron Keller outlined several of the changes coming to the Battle Pass structure. Most notably that starting with Season 10, the new hero Venture, Overwatch's first non-binary hero, described as a Canadian swashbuckling archaeologist, and all future heroes will be available for free to all players upon launch. Additionally, players will gain free access to all previously released heroes, eliminating the need to purchase a premium battle pass or grind through hours of gameplay to unlock them. Considering the controversy stirred by the previous system, this is good news for players. Blizzard also introduced a Mythic shop where players can directly purchase Mythic skins previously exclusive to the paid Battle Pass. Players can customize their progression towards unlocking these skins, choosing which variations to focus on. The new season will also introduce the new game mode Clash and its accompanying map Hanaoka through a limited time trial. The full Clash mode will feature 2 brand new maps and is expected to launch later this year. Additionally, players will now have the opportunity to earn Overwatch coins, the game's premium currency, through both the free and premium tracks of the Battle Pass. This change expands the ways players can acquire Overwatch coins beyond completing weekly challenges, which will now reward Battle Pass XP instead. The Season 10 hero lands on April 16th. According to PC Gamer, the recent Stardew Valley's 1.6 update saw a remarkable resurgence of players, with nearly 150,000 returning to the game upon the update's release. It also brought a whole bunch of new additions that makes Stardew feel brand new. That's right, the game came out way back in 2016 and still has gamers hooked. And I get it. Who wouldn't want to live out their days in the charming countryside where all one has to do is farm, fish, and forge friendships with handsome villagers? But I digress. The game's new content and quality of life improvements in this update are massive. New menus, a revamped farm layout, additional crops, the ability to accommodate multiple pets and play with up to 7 friends simultaneously, and the big one, you can now shop and break geodes while your tools are upgrading at Clint's shop. Clint, we're glad you finally unlocked the ability to multitask. Then there were some fun ones, like the addition of drinkable mayonnaise and cats wearing hats. Yes, Stardew is the game that keeps on giving. It's worth noting that the update is currently exclusive to PC players, but there are plans for a mobile and console release at some point, hopefully soon. For those who have yet to embark on their cozy farming journey, the game is available for purchase right now on Steam for just $15. Sul means hello in Simlish. Simlish, of course, is the fictional language spoken in the Sims games, and now we have even more reason to learn it. That's right, a movie adaptation of EA's most popular simulation game, The Sims, is officially in the works. Margot Robbie's Lucky Chap Productions is set to produce and seems like the perfect fit for the project, especially considering their massive success with the Barbie movie. Much like in the Sims games, where players have full control over their Sims' lives, dictating everything from their fashion choices to their career paths, the parallels to Barbie are hard to miss. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the project will be helmed by Kate Herron, known for directing the first season of Loki, which was great, alongside Brian E. Redman, known for her work on Doctor Who. EA, the publisher of the Sims video game series, is also part of the production in a, and I quote, creative and producing capacity. Sims fans wasted no time speculating about the movie's plot. Will the movie be entirely in Simlish? Will Sims get stuck in a pool without a ladder? I guess we'll just have to wait and see when the movie comes out at some point in the future. Who'd have thought that the collaboration between LEGO and Fortnite would go so hard? Following the success of the LEGO Survival Mode, starting Tuesday, March 26th, players will now have the ability to create and share their very own LEGO-themed game creations in Fortnite. Announced during Epic's Unreal keynote at GDC 2024 last week, using Fortnite's creative mode and Unreal Editor, players will gain access to a variety of fresh tools and assets to make their LEGO games and can even make some money off their creations. For example, one creator made upwards of $1 million from a Fortnite rendition of Only Up, but that one seems to be an outlier, at least for now. For anyone looking to create using the new LEGO models, creators must adhere to specific guidelines, namely maintaining an ESRB rating of E10+ or lower, and sharing revenue with the LEGO group. So grab your bricks and let your imagination run wild. Who knows, you might strike gold. The world-famous massive multiplayer online role-playing game, World of Warcraft, or MMORPG for short, is still innovating after nearly 20 years of service. In their new update, Plunderstorm, a battle royale-inspired event, players can go head-to-head or team up with friends in a 60-player free-for-all. Like other battle royales, Plunderstorm pits players against each other in an area surrounded by an ominous storm that shrinks tighter and tighter until there are just 2 players left to duel to the death. The event isn't all for guts and glory though. Players who partake in the event can earn loot that they can then take back with them. Rewards range from cosmetics and armor to pets and even a plus-sized parrot that players can ride around Azeroth. Like all freak weather events, the Plunderstorm won't be around forever, so for those of you who have a World of Warcraft subscription, make sure you log in soon, as the event is estimated to end by late April or early May. As we speculated in last week's show, the flying bugs in Helldivers 2 are very real and officially here to stay. Arrowhead Game Studios, the developer behind Helldivers 2, confirmed that the flying terminids, known as Shriekers, are the latest threat to Super Earthians. Even though these were added to the game, the mention of them was mysteriously left out from the detailed patch notes for the most recent update. As we reported last week, Arrowhead Game Studios CEO Johan Pilestead initially denied the presence of flying bugs, but he has now gone back on his word and acknowledged their existence in a post on Twitter stating, "I want to be very clear. I've always believed there to be a possibility of flying bugs. Everyone knows that. Most bugs fly, and it was only a matter of time before the strain would evolve naturally." Of course, how very convenient. Now, take this next story with a grain of salt, as most of it is seemingly speculation, but according to a recent story published by Kotaku, Rockstar Games is facing challenges with the production of Grand Theft Auto 6. As stated in the article, sources familiar with the game's development process suggest that the game might not meet its anticipated release window and may be pushed as far back as 2026. Rockstar already faced backlash after mandating employees to return to the office, leading to frustration among staff hired remotely during the pandemic. While the company cites security and quality as reasons for the return to the office, sources suggest that GTA 6's development has fallen behind, causing concern among Rockstar leadership about missing their 2025 release window. Although Rockstar still aims for a spring 2025 release, sources say a fall 2025 launch is more likely, holding 2026 as a final option. Hopefully, this doesn't mean more crunch for staff members. Even though this game is a very hot commodity, arguably the hottest, rush games are never worth it. As Jason Schreiber once said, a good game is only late until it ships. A bad game is bad forever. And that's it for the news this week. It's now time to chat with our returning guest, Danny Pena, who joins us to chat about the Larian Studio debacle. Hey, Danny, welcome to the show. So good to have you back again.
All right, well, thank you for inviting me. Last time we had a great time.
Yes.
Talk about Nintendo and everything else, yeah.
Yeah, and now we're definitely switching gears. We're going to be talking Baldur's Gate 3 and this whole Larian Studios event that happened. It's just interesting that they're deciding to switch gears after the big success of this game. It won so many awards. Do you think it's the right call for Larian Studios to be doing this? Like, what do you think went behind this decision?
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I think this is more than just about this game. I think this is the perfect time for the studio to do something new now that they've been creating a big buzz, especially last year. We're winning a lot of awards and Baldur's Gate getting a lot of Game of the Year nominations or also wins too. So this is the right time for the company because they're still independent. So for the studio to work on another project, and now I guarantee that every studio wants to work, not every studio, every publisher wants to work with a studio now.
Yeah.
And I think this is an opportunity for them to now make more money because of this opportunity. Plus, to do something new, maybe start their own franchise or something, because now they have the buzz from the fans and they have the buzz from the industry overall.
What do you think? How do you think fans feel about them switching gears and not knowing the future of Baldur's Gate? Like, if there will ever be a Baldur's Gate 4?
Yeah, you know what? That's a great question. I think the fans are probably disappointed now, right? But
Yeah.
I think once they see what's new with the studio in the future, I think the fans are going to be okay. They'll forget whatever's happening now, because that happened with I think a couple of studios. I think Obsidian, they worked on Fallout Las Vegas back in the days, right? But they started doing their own thing too. They're similar to that type of style of game. You get what I'm saying? So I think people need to just relax, calm down. Let's see what they're working on in the future, and probably they want to do something new. You gotta let the studio, the team, do something different and new. They've been working on this game for so long.
It's true. I feel like Larian, no matter what, now we have eyes on them. We want them to succeed, and they've obviously been doing a great job. So, like, the sky's the limit for them. And in the same vein as Obsidian, we just want to see what else they can do, like have them stretch their muscles a bit and figure out what other avenues they could go into when it comes to games. Do you have any speculation as to what they might be working on next? I know they talked about they're working on something big, and they haven't really teased much beyond that.
Yeah, that's a huge question mark because I don't even know what's going on with them. But another thing I need to bring up, because I think we don't know the official contract with
Wizards of the Coast. Yeah.
And also with them, was this just a standalone game and that's it? Was there other stuff that they wanted? Maybe because of financial reasons, maybe it didn't work out. We don't know yet. So, but whatever they're working on, I think it's going to be really cool because the team has been pushing it during GDC, like, hey, this is going to be something different and cool. And they're excited. It looks like they're excited for the next project they're working on.
Yeah, and they've been very vocal about how, they were talking about some DLC, then it didn't happen. And then I think they've been very vocal about their approach to games too. And the CEO, Sven Vinke, I forget, I don't know, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but at GDC, he said that he'd been fighting with publishers his entire life. The exact quote is that he says he keeps seeing that the same mistakes over and over and over, that it's always the quarterly profits that, publishers tend to go for. The only thing that matters is the numbers. And so I think their approach to games is like content first, is this a good game first? Why do you think Larian's CEO said that? Do you think there was some tensions between their relationship with Wizards of the Coast or anything like that?
I think that's definitely shots fired for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Not only that, but even at DICE, the team, they won a couple awards, and I think the last one was Game of the Year, and it was the same kind of vibe too with the speech. Shots fired. Not only about the publishers, but also to talk about like in the industry overall, but also talked about investors. That type, like it's not about the investors, it's about the developers making something that they want to do. Something
they're
different.
passionate about.
They're passionate about exactly. So there's been a lot of talk about this because especially with everything that's been happening in the industry the past year and a half or so, where the developers are getting it off and all that stuff, and this is like I think a time where I think devs are just fed up. They just want to create something that they just love to do, and it's something that's fun and is different, and not depend on what like higher ups, from publishers pushing them what to do. It reminds me a lot of like the music industry where, artists will make music just to become a hit. Like they only care about the hit and not caring about the art. And I think the devs right now in our industry, they care so much about the art more than anything else. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they're being vocal about this stuff. And I hope other devs can feel empowered to continue down that path. So this is kind of a random question, but what would be a dream developer that you could think of that would crush taking over a game like Baldur's Gate 4?
Ooh, that's a great question. I have two.
Okay.
I have two. I really been thinking about this. I think one, I know it's going to be impossible for this to happen because I know they're working on a couple projects, but CD Projekt Red would be cool because I love the Witcher series, love it so much, and I really enjoy Cyberpunk, especially now with all the updates and the new expansion. I think that team will be perfect for this type of game.
Yeah,
right, and it's something different for them too. So. And also Obsidian, because I just love their RPG games. I love Outer Worlds, love Fallout New Vegas. I think that would be a great team to be the next studio to work on the project.
Yeah, and do something like Baldur's Gate 4 and, maybe take it a different direction or something. And I agree with Obsidian. I think that they could crush something like this. They have experience with these types of worlds and world building. And I think that they would do something that is really, I want to see them back in the conversation a little bit. Like I want to hear more things being talked about when it comes to Obsidian. Awesome. I wanted to know really quickly, did you follow up on some GDC news? Were there any highlights for you this week?
Yeah, I have to say, from GDC, I think what I've been seeing a lot of like developers united and happy and motivated on what to do next. And, and it looks like everybody was like really helping each other out throughout the conference, which is really, really cool to see. And I think more than ever, this is like the right time for everybody to just help each other out, especially now where a lot of people are looking for new work and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool from that side. Also, I'm glad to see. I don't know if you ever heard of this game. It's an indie game.
Yeah.
El Paso Elsewhere.
No, not familiar.
Yeah, it's it reminded me a lot of like Max Payne, like that type of shooter. It's really cool. You can find it on like Xbox, Steam. I've been playing that a lot. It works on the Steam Deck too. The developer been getting a lot of awards too during GDC, so it's really cool to see that. Yeah. So, but make sure to check out El Paso Elsewhere. It's so good.
Oh,
really
perfect.
Yeah.
I love a good plug. Great. Yeah. Can you quickly describe for those who don't know what GDC is just give a quick description of what it is?
Yeah, so GDC, this is not like open to the public. This is more for industry folks, where especially developers from all around the world that will go. They have like workshops, they have panels, keynote speaking about everything that's happening in the industry. Also, they have the awards too over there. Alana Pierce just hosted one this year, which is really cool. Shout out to her and congrats.
Yeah,
I heard nothing but great things about it too. And so they do a lot of stuff there, like the developers. Also, publishers will go over there because maybe they want to find like the next indie game so it could be published on like through their company. Xbox will go there and try to get like more indie games to be part of the program. Idea at Xbox, stuff like that. PlayStation's done the same thing, and Nintendo. So that's more for like just developers and industry only.
Yeah, like coming together and seeing how they can work together and stuff like that.
Yeah. I know Linux and Games have like their stuff over there too. Xbox have like multiple events every day where they have like women in Xbox, back to Xbox, Latinos too, like that. So
nice.
It's pretty cool to see that. And I'm glad to see, developers from all around the world that will travel all the way to San Francisco to attend this event.
Yeah, it's very cool. I've attended a couple years in the past. I haven't been back since, but I hope to go back.
I gotta go. I always get invited and never attended, but I think this is like next year will be the right time. I think for me and my wife, probably going to go with it because we love networking and meeting developers from everywhere too. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Danny. It's always so wonderful having you on the show. We'll have you back definitely.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about the next big thing with you and congrats on the podcast. I'm glad that you're having fun with this. Yep.
Well, we're getting close to Summer Games Fest. So, I mean, more and more news coming for sure. There's a lot of stuff. I'll be hitting you up for some interviews.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Danny Pena is the founder and host of Gamertag Radio. You can follow him on Twitter @Godfrey. Now, before I leave you, let's go over the video games releasing this week. We've got a handful of games coming out Tuesday, March 26th. First is South Park Snow Day, which makes its debut on all platforms. Next up, the spiritual successor to Zoo Tycoon Planet Zoo makes its way from PC over to PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Then the Grandia HD Collection brings the classic JRPGs Grandia 1 and 2 over to PS4 and Xbox One. There are just 3 more games coming out this week, and these will all drop on the same day, March 28th. We have Open Roads, the chill mother-daughter bonding sim coming to all platforms. Pepper Grinder makes its debut on PC and Switch. And finally, the indie title Stacklands, the card-based civilization builder, shuffles its way onto the Nintendo Switch. And that's This Week in Gaming. I'm your host, Naomi Kyle, and thank you so much for tuning in for the latest in games. Thank you so much for listening. Your listen makes a huge difference. Don't forget to let me know what you're playing and what you think about these stories by tagging me @Naomi Kyle. And from all of us here at This Week in Gaming, we wish you the best weekend, and we'll see you again, same time, same place. Thanks for listening.
This Week in Gaming is an iHeartRadio Canada podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app for more podcasts just like these.